So, for my story about feeling different, I went back to a very particular moment. I was a sophomore in high school, and I was desperate to fit in. I wanted to be cool and counted. I wanted to matter, and the guys that mattered, at least at that school, so it seemed to me, were the jocks. They were big, bright examples of male pulchritude that fairly shouted to all, "Come and be near me. Feel the magnificence of my pulsing personality." One could actually feel their confidence oozing from every pore. They were adored and admired, and us mere boys wanted to be them, as all the girls wanted to be with them. And I think that was the main attraction for males in my group. The jocks were virile, strong, and muscled. They were men where the rest of us were mere boys. I came out of 8th grade at 4'11", and so was a late bloomer. I wanted to be a man. Let's get on with it already, I said to myself. I dove in. Sports was the way to become a jock, and I happened to have an older brother who was one of the best. His name was legendary in our high school, and the coaches all had an eye out for me as well. "We expect good things from you, sir," I was told I don't know how many times. "Yeah, we'll keep expecting," I said to myself. I couldn't bring myself to do football, although I had a thick frame by sophomore year, so I settled for soccer instead. I thought it had a higher degree of difficulty because at least I couldn't use my hands or my arms, and at least the sport has some finesse, I thought. I entered the boys' locker room with some trepidation, as I was a tad late in secondary sex characteristics, and so were some of the other boys, which made it not so bad. One of the golden football jocks befriended me, as he had seen my brother destroy another opponent on the playing field, and then later on in the parking lot. He thought this was the apex of masculine behavior. I thought it barbaric. However, I was determined to see my social experiment through to the end. Popularity at any cost. And so I befriended him as well. His family knew mine through my brother, and they also had boys, twins as a matter of fact, Richard and Ronnie Hurst. And Richard was the one who had befriended me. I tagged along with him for a few months, basking in the reflected glow of his sports stardom. He was apparently very good at football. I couldn't tell because I never watched a game, nor even went to a game, as I've always found football to be excruciatingly boring to watch. My revelation that I was different came one fateful night when Richard and I were going to a jock party in the hopes of getting laid, or at least feeling up some cheerleader. I was excited about going to the party with Richard. I never would have been invited or had the balls to go by myself. We started the evening in front of a 7-Eleven store, trying to score some cheap beer. And I remember feeling dirty and desperate, as if I were a heroin addict asking for a fix. "Excuse me, sir, could you buy us some beer?" Finally, some hippie bought it for us, and off we went to the party. Upon arrival, I had severe reservations. There were no adults present at all, which didn't bother me in terms of safety, but I realized there were only other jocks and some desperate girls there. I had no one to talk to. I was raised interacting with adults, friends of my mother's who discussed great sweeping subjects with adult themes like taxes, death, divorce, etc. For a bit, I drank my beer and rotated throughout the house, laughing at the right signals and adding an innocuous comment which wouldn't send alarms to the herding wildebeests as they relaxed among themselves. I sat back and watched that scene, and as I sat there, studying the crowd, revelation came. The clouds parted, and light struck me as assuredly as Saul on the road to Damascus. I was thinking, this is stupid. Everyone here is stupid. There is no one I want to talk to here at all. Who cares about last week's stupid football game? I was interested in art, fashion, dance, old movies, new movies, foreign films, music, books. Has anyone here even read a book outside of English class? The answer, no. Besides, the beer tasted like warm piss, and I thought, can't we at least raid their parents' liquor cabinet for some Cabernet? The thought was lost on present company. It was at that moment that I realized, holy shit, I'm different than everyone here. I didn't belong there, listening to the guys spout football statistics like they were quoting poetry. I didn't belong there listening to the girls giggle and flirt and encourage stupid conversation in order to be popular and fit in. I still had no idea where I did belong, but I knew then that it sure as hell wasn't there. I found Richard in the middle of a possible score with a not-so-pretty sophomore girl. Hey, I don't feel well. I'm going to head home, and I'll catch you tomorrow at school. He nodded, and I left. It felt good to leave, to act on impulse, and to know that that impulse was correct. To get out and away from some manufactured structure of social importance that was alien to me and that I did not believe in at all. As I was walking through the brisk, misty Northern California air, I breathed in a bunch of it, and it felt good to be me, alone, walking in the night.